Russell. My family has befriended her family, and my wife is pregnant, she's pregnant, we both have a 1-year-old, almost 2-year-old, so a lot of commonalities, and they live on the west side in a multifamily.
Yeah, 2 minutes away.
Yeah. So a lot of similarities, and tonight she is sharing a deal that her and her husband Joel have done, and I am very pleased to introduce you to her and show you her deal. All right, here you go. Just press the space button to move forward, and then hold the mic close to you.
All right, so I am Mikayla Russell. I'm presenting my duplex at 40 Sullivan Street in Manchester. So this is our only property. My husband Joel and I did a lot of the work ourselves, and we had our baby during the midst of all of this chaos that you're going to see. So the property was pending, but came back on market with a $6,000 rehab credit. We asked the seller to do $8,500 toward our closing costs and did $2,000 over list price, so $282 was our offer. He accepted. October 21st, 2021, we closed. It's an 1889 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. 3-season porches, laundry is included, and depending on if you can park well, you can get 4 to 5 cars off street. We use a first-time home buyer's loan with 5% down. Our interest rate is 3.125%. So the down payment was $14,000, closing costs around $10,000. We did an informational inspection for $550. So our cost to buy would have been around $25,000, but with the seller concession and some prorated taxes, it brought it down to about $16,000 to get the property. We did a lot of rehab, so that was about $70,000. So the initial total investment was about $86,000. Looking at what we think it could go for now, $475,000, that gives us a bit over $100,000 in equity at this time, only less than 3 years later. All right, so a monthly view. Almost a year after we purchased it, we finally got it rented. For September 2022, we got $1,800. We had a lot of property tax increases, and we explained that to the tenants. They stayed on with us again for $1,900 in 2023. When we move out, we plan to rent our unit for $2,000, so we're looking at $3,900 in monthly income. Our mortgage is $1,851. It does have taxes, insurance. We self-manage and do a lot of repairs. So looking at what we expect to spend over the year, breaking that down to monthly is only $117. And then when we move out, we'll set aside 15% of rent. So $585 into a savings fund, bringing the monthly expenses to $2,553, which makes our cash flow $1,347. Expected yearly cash flow divided by the initial investment gives us a 18.7% return. So scope of work. We replaced the kitchens. This is the first floors, and that baseboard heat we took out to be able to add more cabinetry. So this is the after. We're able to move the stove over to a different wall, get a dishwasher in there, shift the fridge over, just made it a lot more functional. This is the upstairs unit. This wall over here originally did not have any cabinets, so we made sure to give them some more storage space, and we also snuck in that dishwasher. One of the biggest costs to this rehab was a full electrical rework. So we have new electric panels, all new wiring, everything, added a bunch of overhead lighting, more receptacles, just a full overhaul. So that's definitely a big chunk of the budget. The second floor bathroom we gutted. We said goodbye to that pink tub and toilet, so now it's a lot nicer. And then another big behind the scenes cost was plumbing updates. All the supply lines to washing machines, sinks, tubs, it was replaced with PEX piping, and there is some sketchy traps, vents, and rusty shut-off valve situations behind the walls, so we are glad to have had that done. This is the living room on the second floor. Only one room on the second floor had like a nice drywall ceiling. All of the other rooms had different variations of weird tile, and some even just looked like weird cardboard. So we tore that down, hired drywall guys, and this is an after to show you the difference. New flooring and paint throughout the unit. This is the transformation of the upstairs porch. And then the first floor unit, we also redid this porch. We anticipated changing the windows to vinyl. We did not anticipate the water damage that we found. So this is my son in the kitchen, looking out the doorway to a gaping hole in the porch. There's my husband, and his cousin has a contracting business. They had to reframe a lot of it, and there was all this exterior work that we were not anticipating, so definitely snowballed on that one. And this is an example of the state of things we got. It's just gross. There's so much cleaning and mudding and caulking before you could even get to trim and paint. And then this is the attic door in the second unit, and nothing here was demoed. My husband took the time to fix it and make it look new. And this is where it gets kind of tricky when you can do DIY. It's like, where do you hire out and where do you do it yourself? So we were at the point where we're like, okay, we're gonna have to borrow money from Joel's brother to pay the drywall guys to hang drywall. What can we fix ourselves to save money? Well, what we saved for ourselves ended up taking a month. So honestly, it would have been better just to ask for more money from his brother, get a rent check a month sooner, break even on that, especially considering we had a baby during this. But, you know, you can't really know until you get through it. Things that went wrong. Tree limbs coming down the property, taking out internet when you really want it during the eviction, and a job change. Minor flooding in the basement, evicting inherited tenants. The eviction slowed, well, it stalled our rehab upstairs because they were still there. So the same cabinet a few months later was $35 more. Now, add that to all the materials, our budget was definitely blown. We had heating failures in both units consecutive years, loss in unit 2, a finished nail caused a leak in unit 2, tenant caused water damage to our unit, and there was a roommate conflict. One of them ended up moving out just after we signed the year-long lease renewal. So getting into the eviction a bit more, after we had our offer accepted, the seller, we asked him, hey, can you serve an official eviction notice? A month later, my husband went in with contractors and he's like, okay, they're supposed to be out in 2 days and there's no sign of backing. So we talked to our lawyer and said, can you send me a picture of what you posted? And our lawyer's like, that is not going to hold up in court. So we drafted an eviction notice for him. He just needed to do a couple of things about date, time, signing. Well, on closing date, we figured out he messed up. He said that he gave it in hand to the tenants and he left it at where they live. And then he also checked AM and PM. So our lawyer's like, yeah, this is not gonna work. So the day after we closed, we served our own eviction notice, and we also gave the tenants a cash for keys agreement. They did not meet their end of the agreement and came moving out. So we had a court date at the end of December. The court said they can stay until the end of January, but said you need to actually start paying weekly $240. Well, January 26th, they filed a motion to extend their discretionary stay. And that was a Wednesday, so by the time it gets processed by the court and gets through to the mail, it wasn't until Friday afternoon we found out. So it wasn't until February 2nd that we had filed our objection to extend their stay. And then February 7th, they did not pay that court-ordered rent. And interestingly enough, when we told them, hey, you know, we're gonna report you guys to the court, later that evening our window was shut out with a BB gun. Yep. One of our lawyers' secretaries called and found out on the 8th that the judge actually denied their objection on February 3rd, but through processing time and mail, they didn't get that, you know, writ of possession until the 9th, and then the sheriffs came February 10th. So after letting them in and out for weeks, get their stuff, February 17th, we were finally done. If we're looking at when we asked the seller to serve the eviction, way back in September, it was 5 months. Looking at from where we took over, it became a 3.5-month process. And when you're thinking, okay, we're gonna have a baby, we have 7.5 months to get this rehab done, and then it goes down to 4 months, it's definitely pretty impactful. So the base eviction is what we're gonna call it, would have been $764. But all the stuff at the end about, you know, emailing and calling lawyers about the discretionary stay, saying, hey, we're gonna tell the court they didn't pay us. And then also when we told them you're not getting your security deposit back, they threatened to sue us, so we asked our lawyer to just write up a nice little letter. After that, ended up bringing the total closer to $1,100 for everything. And then just a closer look at the water damage. Our upstairs tenant left a burn-up filling on the countertop and pulled the faucet into it, fell asleep. Their unit was fine, it just kind of went off of the LVP into like the heating pipe and then down into our drywall. So we had to remove a sheet from the ceiling and then all behind the washing machine. But we required renter's insurance, so we got a check for $2,300. Definitely require renter's insurance. All right, so this is our email. I've had a few friends want to get into real estate, so I've made a list of resources for them. If you're interested, just email me asking for it and I'll send it to you. On the flip side, if you have standard fee deductions for turnovers for cleaning, from the security department, things like that, repairs, and don't mind sharing those numbers with me, I'd love to reference them while I'm making my list. And then I haven't been active on the Instagram lately, but eventually I will get through back on the posts. Maybe when I'm nursing at 2 in the morning, we'll see.
All right, awesome. Thanks very much, Mikayla.